Hey guys, James Wilson-Taylor here for Roxanne. We are backstage in the beautiful, beautiful city of Edinburgh right now, and look who has stopped by. It's Josh and Max from You Me at 6. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello.
Hello. Bonjour.
Bonjour, exactly. In the Scottish climate, that's the way to say it right there. Gents, it's really nice to see it back on the road, which has got to be so fucking exciting after, my God, a year where you must have just been dying to get out there and play those new songs again, right?
Yeah, it's been cool. Also did a bit of touring in September, which was really nice. Did Reading and Leeds like last minute. And this has kind of been like stuff that should happen last January, so it's nice to be out doing it. But kind of like you said, playing the new songs, but then tonight we're playing Hold Me Down.
Tonight you're playing all the old stuff.
So it's kind of.
We're giving what the people want at the end of the day, don't they? They loved Hold Me Down. They get a good slice of that, and they get a good slice of some new songs as well.
That's what we want, the slice of new songs. I did want to ask you about that because obviously #1 record, congrats on that again. But like, it's just really nice. I remember when we were chatting when it was coming out, it felt built to play live in a big way. It's got to be, I mean, every band's been struggling with that, but it's really frustrating to have this record that's so made for those rooms. It must be so nice to finally see what the reactions are like, I guess, to the different moments on that record.
Yeah, 100%. Because you kind of can build it up in your own head, like what people are going to like, what they're not going to like, and you can like look at streaming numbers and stuff like that. But really, the only way to truly gauge whether or not a new record's doing well is by playing it in front of people. That's the most honest, like, you can't fake that.
Yeah,
there's
true.
no hiding either. Like, you can tell someone's like, they didn't like that one, did they? Do you know what I mean? But then there's obviously the ones who are like, okay, that one really connected, that felt good. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when like you guys were making it and everything, and like talking to you guys around it. You were very hyped up for this record, and rightly so. It felt like a really nice moment. I was delighted to see the success you guys had with it. Now it's a little bit in the rear view. How are you reflecting on it you've got a bit of perspective now? How are you feeling about that record and what it says about the current mood of the band, I suppose?
I think it's an important one for us because it's like, it's a record we needed to make 100%, and it's kind of like the one that set up the confidence to make those sort of strides creatively. But like, yeah, it was a weird one because I kind of like, I know the other guys said this as well, but like we kind of lent on that record during like the lockdowns and stuff like that. Like it was like a crutch to be like, whenever you're having a bad day of like imposter syndrome, you can put that record and go, people haven't heard this yet, and when they hear it, they're going to love it hopefully as much as we do. So putting it out was great because I kind of felt like for the first time in a long time I was like a You Me at 6 fan waiting for a release. So it was nice to be on that side of it as well. What would you like to add?
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head, but it's nice to now have the record out in the world and everybody to hear it. And over the last couple of months, people seeing it live, and for us to all be in a room playing it together as well, because we hadn't played the record as a band until September.
Yeah.
So for us to go in there and play these songs together as a band for the first time since Thailand, it was like, oh wow, they sound really good in a room all together, just jamming out and having fun. And it's been great to see the way the fans have reacted to the songs. You know, songs like Beautiful Way and Sucker Punch, I think are clear and obvious
Big
fan
bands.
favourites in the set, you know. And I think even for us writing music moving forward, it's like, they work really good. How can we just send those into overdrive and think about moving forward?
Yeah, 100%, man. And yeah, we mentioned there, of course, you are playing a bit of a different set tonight. You know, you've been touching on Hold Me Down and all that kind of stuff with these anniversary, slightly delayed anniversary for obvious reasons, but you're in there. It always fascinates me when people do this and they play the record front to back. What were the moments you had to go, wait, how does that go again? What were the bits we had to really refresh the memory?
It was a bit of like a collective car crash,
Right, okay.
to be honest. But more of like, there was like 2 or 3 where we'd never played them live before.
Sure.
Like Take Your Breath Away, I played live for. No Such Thing, I played live for. And like, you could tell when we first jammed. But then there was also songs like Underdog, Stay With Me, Get a Confidence We Know Well. But I think it's one of those that the main reason we wanted to do it is like we haven't celebrated it, if you like, in the way we do with Take for Colours, more because we didn't necessarily want to do like a big tour for it or anything like that. But having been in that situation where we'd all been like locked up and just not been able to do anything with like our audience or whatever, we thought, well, we're doing these shows anyway, how can we make it like just that little bit more special, and like sort of like you were either there or you weren't.
Yeah.
Whereas like obviously when we did the Take for Colours stuff, it was like these massive shows for it. Same with Sinners we're doing next year, whereas these like you either bought a ticket and you're one of 500 or you're not, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of makes it even more special as well.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's a nice thing to be able to acknowledge in that way.
Ice
Very
Machine.
loud. Yeah. Oh, it's the ice machine. That's the one. I thought it was the bug for a second. Backstage. Let's talk about next year, as you alluded to there. These Sinners shows, absolutely fucking. What a great idea that is. Like to do it, but do it in a massive fuck off big way like that over a couple of nights. It's just so exciting. Tell me, I guess, a little bit about. I like with album anniversaries to kind of think about what stayed the same there. Is there anything you learned making that record that kind of stuck with you and applies to Sucker Punch and whatever you're working on now?
I think predominantly like the spirit of that record is quite similar to the one that we had on Sucker Punch, where it's sort of like Sinners was the first time in our band's career where it wasn't just like straight up pop punk rock, like it was way more diverse. It was like, we had like Winston from Parkway Drive on a track, do you know what I mean? Like, and Ollie obviously on Bite My Tongue, and like I think there was a confidence in that record which we kind of tried to tap into for Sucker Punch. So I think that sort of thing it was the same headspace of we're just going to do this and people will either like it or they won't, and we felt that way on Sinners, I think.
I think kind of taking away looking at that Sinners record and kind of alluding back to the shows as well is the final night of Sin and what a moment it was in our band's career. And I think that was the reason why we looked at doing the weekend of Sin, the 10 years of Sin, however you want to look at it, is kind of giving a nod to that show because it was such a big moment in our band's career to kind of go and play Wembley Arena at that time. And then obviously knowing that it's a fan favourite of the You Me at Six back catalogue, we wanted to celebrate it in a way that wasn't doing the same as the final night of Sin, but kind of doing something a bit more special. Yeah. And obviously it's in conjunction with Slam Dunk just before that weekend as well. And obviously knowing Ben Ray for a long time, and when we came up with the idea and spoke about it, it was actually going to be a massive long tour, and it kind of felt irrelevant because we did that on Take Off Your Colours, so by kind of paying homage to the 10 years of Sin, of doing it like the final night of Sin, it made sense for us, and it was a really exciting idea. And obviously having the lineup of the Hunter and Holding Absence, and there's a couple more to be added onto the bill as well, it feels like, with a band like Holding Absence, it kind of is kind of paying back to where that sound of that record was. And then with the guys in the Hunter who we know as well, like great dudes, and it's going to be an amazing night. And for us to go and play that record from start to finish I think it's going to be a bit of an emotional night, because I think there are songs on that record that will, we haven't played for a long time, or again never played before. But if I'm looking at it from inside of the band, it's a record that kind of elevated us to that level of going to arenas, and I think we're looking at that show and going, well, we're going outdoor with this, so let's make it feel like an outdoor show.
Yeah, it's going to be a big event, guys. Really big event. It's really, really exciting to see. And speaking of kind of moments from that era and everything, obviously, last time you got out there live was on that Bring Me tour. I mean, what a lineup that was. My God, like absolutely huge night that was. Got to do Ollie with Bite My Tongue as well, which is a really, really nice moment at the end there. That's just got to be, again, a nice nostalgic thing without going OTT on it, but they're all friends of yours, and getting to have little moments like that has got to be a wonderful, wonderful thing to celebrate those moments, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things that, like, I don't think either of our bands would have expected to still be in bands in 2021. Sure. Do you know what I mean? Especially like doing it at that level. Obviously, the stuff that those lads have gone to do has been insane. And yeah, we've known them for a very long time. And when we spoke about, obviously doing the tour, it's like, well, at some point we should try and will that song out together rather than just like us playing it. And I think both bands are a little bit like, we're trying to ease our way into this whole playing live thing again. And Ollie as well in particular was sort of like, I don't want to go out there and blow my voice and then that sort of stuff. But he was like, we've got to do it at least on one of the shows. Like, it'd be amazing. And like, yeah, it's one of those things that I think, again, it was you were either there or you weren't sort of moment, which I think makes it special. But it's a massive victory for the scene. I think we've been talking about this in many interviews, that have gone by, where it's like, as a collective, we need to sort of like do what they do more in sort of the hip hop world, where they sort of like elevate each other and like, jump on each other's songs and or do little features on live shows like that, because it makes the scene be celebrated and talked about in a more sort of widespread capacity versus us all having like our own little islands, if you like. So that's why I thought that tour was so important, because you're celebrating a band like Bring Me, you're celebrating a band like You Me at Six, and you're celebrating a band like Nova Twins that are just coming through. Like for English rock music, I don't think it gets bigger than that, to be honest, for a long time.
Also celebrating live music, full stop.
Yeah, true.
Because obviously after the course of, I'm not going to even say the word because I'm sure everybody's bored of it, likewise we all are ourselves, but to kind of go back in and do those shows in September, they were like the first shows coming back after everything, and it felt like a special moment. Seeing the reaction from fan bases colliding together, making new fans, seeing old fans, but also just being in a room going, we've all just missed live music. And I think you could really tell that on the headline run, and then going into the Horizon run as well. It was just, people were so excited just to be back listening to live music again, because being starved is something that's essentially helped everybody out over the course of 18 to 24 months. It's like, we're so grateful to be here now, and a coming together of, there's no dickheads. It's everybody just having fun and enjoy it. And I think there was a moment in London on the Horizon run at the O2 where something happened in the crowd, and it was notified very quickly, and it was like, stop the show, let's get that sorted out. And it was dealt with because everybody's looking out for each other. And I think that is the real, not saving grace, but I think that's something that we've all learned as well, which is so great to see that it hasn't gone out the window, and it's we forget about those 24 months or 18 months we've all just gone through. It's actually like, no, we look after you, and that, I think that's what it's been like being back out on the road again as an internal for You Me at Six, is just go and have fun and enjoy it, because it can be taken away like that without you even realizing. So it's been fantastic. Yeah,
spirit of community there, both in terms of collaborations. I see it across the scene at the minute, actually, which is really, really encouraging, like you say. And yeah, obviously with the fans as well, it's just really, really nice to see you guys back out there and celebrating these moments again. I'll leave you with this, gents. What is kind of next? Are we thinking about the next moves musically yet? What kind of stage are we at, guys?
Sort of like, yeah, I don't know, to be honest. Like, I think we've sort of started playing around some ideas, but I think we were just trying to work out whether or not we can tour this year or not internationally, which is kind of looking less and less likely. So we probably will be back in the studio. But in Yumi, like, we don't really stop writing. We've always been creative in some capacity. So I'm sure music will come soon, but it's got to be right. I think we made a record which kind of really, for us, raised the bar in terms of what we want to create. So we're not really in the business of like just putting out any old thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, so when it's ready, it's ready. And I think it will probably be summerish time for something. At least something, yeah.
Exciting stuff, boys. Exciting stuff. I'll let you go get ready for the show tonight, gents, but always great to talk to you, and we'll see you again soon. All right, you mix it.